You are now listening to the Serious Growth Podcast with your host, Leo Costa Jr.
But what?
Because I'm the one that normally does interviews.
Oh, I see. Well, I'll tell you what, if it makes any difference, you can someday interview me. I'd be happy to interview with you.
That'd be great. I mean, my line of work is all about interviewing. That's coming up in a few weeks. So
Tell me about that.
I work for the Red Cross. I'm the team supervisor here. So I have 10 staff under me.
Whoa.
Yeah. So I do all the interviews. I have my manager above me who has been such a great mentor to help me become who I am today. So
tell me exactly. So do you interview? I'm not really quite clear. I don't think.
Yes. Well, I interview like those who want to work for the American Red Cross.
Oh, okay.
As a phlebotomist.
Yeah.
I've had 10 years experience, so I guess I'm qualified, right?
I would think that you would be a master by now. 10 years.
Yeah, right.
Hitting the vein, right?
I set the expectations pretty high here. I mean, we're like a family here, so
yeah.
I definitely like what I do.
Nice. It's important. Can you hand me that, Charles, right there? I think it's really important, first of all, to do stuff that you like doing. That's for sure.
Yeah.
What got you into the sport of, are you a fitness model? What's your category?
I do bikini. Amateur.
Yeah. Because I know I met you in Vegas.
I couldn't do 10 pull-ups.
Oh, yeah. And so what got you into that sport?
So my friends, I have a friend named Agnes Cole. She's also a bikini pro, and she told me all about it. However, I was introduced to a coach that I wanted to do a 6 weeks challenge, who's also from he's NPC, but he's my coach, and I wanted to do a 6 week challenge. I'm like, let me try the 6 week challenge, right? Test my body. I was a 130 weight with high percentage fat. I was working out most of the time, taking classes. My brother got into doing bodybuilding more than I did. So I committed, since we're in the same household. I'm like, let me try it.
Yeah.
So once I committed to the 6 week challenge, I saw how this coach worked with my aunt who did a show in California on Culver City, NPC. I'm like, man, he did so well with her. So let me test it out.
Yeah.
So I ended up doing the 6 week challenge, fully committed, dedicated 100%. And after my 6 week was over, my brother's like, hey, I'm going to join a show on the INBA. Do you want to do it with me? So I told my coach, I'm like, hey, am I qualified to do an amateur show for the INBA? He's like, heck yeah, girl, let's do this.
Yeah.
So we went straight in and started eating more, building muscle as much as we could in a short period of time. And I mean, I've never been challenged with my body so much that I stressed it out completely. I felt it. But I had to believe and trust that what he was doing was exactly what I wanted him to do, so I can be on stage. So it worked. It felt good. I pushed my limits. There was some emotional times for sure during the training where I wanted to give up. But the family and friends that supported me, they're like, you're not the kind of girl that gives up on anything.
Yeah.
So I went with a lot of friends that have been doing this for a long time, training, working at the gym. And they took me and kind of coached me at the gym and worked me out, the muscles that I wanted to work out. And yeah, they made me believe again.
So now, was the show in Vegas your first show?
No, the one in Venice Beach was.
Oh, okay.
It was my first show, and I took 3rd place. And I think about that day a lot. Till this day, I think about what could I have done better. You know,
yeah.
It does. It mirrors kind of what your goals are in the future. And coming from 2009 to 2020, I thought I could have done my eye walk.
Yeah.
And I didn't do it. But I worked so hard and I got nervous, and that's okay, right?
And now, a word from our sponsor.
Do you want a bone-crushing grip? Good, because you're gonna get one with the amazing new TRS gripper. It's a progressive grip builder with longer handles and a special ergonomic design that's like a dozen hand grippers in one. Start off easy and work your way up to quickly build your grip strength from wet noodle to pulverizing. The package includes a video from the world-famous strength coach, Dr. Russ Horine, the man who worked with Leo Costa to help bring you big beyond belief in the Bulgarian Power Burst. Dr. Horine shows you a simple and easy to follow workout plan that takes just minutes a day right from in front of your TV set if you want. So click on the link below and let's get started building you a stronger, firmer, bone-crushing grip.
Now, at the Venice Beach one, were you competing as what category? You said a bikini?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Bikini
so, all right. And when did you actually get into weight training?
Weight training? Let's see, 2018 or 17. It was the year my brother went to the military. That hit me pretty hard, and friends took me in to go work out. So
kind of distracted you? Yeah.
Yep. He
And
left and it felt weird. So
yeah, and then Venice Beach was what year? That 2018?
2019.
2019.
Mm-hmm.
So you're a newcomer.
I'm a newcomer. Yeah, I'm a beginner.
A beginner. A rookie.
To weight training. Although I've done like in middle school and elementary school, I was in track.
Yeah.
That was my strongest sport is track. And when I came to Utah, I moved to Salt Lake to St. George, and I met a whole group of friends that did track too, which were relay races, and I was pretty good at that too. But the bodybuilding was a lot better because you don't have to do that much cardio towards the end.
So you had an athletic background to some degree.
Yes, I would say so. Just more in running, but never in building muscle, which is such a good journey.
Yeah, it's a whole different animal. So when you got it, and then so you had people actually helping design your program and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, I hired someone to help me design my program, and I have a mentor who's Nicole. She helped me pose, so she's been such a great inspiration to my journey too, and couldn't have done it without her.
Yeah. I don't know about you, but my first show that I did, I don't even remember it. I was so nervous. Were you that nervous?
Yes, I really was, but I didn't know what to expect. I was so nervous that I wanted, I went to Team USA 2019. I went Friday to do the posing class that they offer for free, which Agnes Cole was there. And that's where I met the Ironman magazine. I was part of a magazine too. But I wanted to check out the stage. I like to mentally prepare myself what I'm going to get into. And I saw the stage, I saw the people, I met a lot of friends there. And it gave me more of a comfort what I was going to look forward to. But when I got to Venice Beach, they're like, this is your stage. You're doing the I walk. I'm like, what is that? I was doing posing for a T-walk. So that's.
Why don't you explain, if you can, what the I walk is for the people that don't know?
So the I walk, from my understanding, was you walk in, you go straight into the judges, and then from there you turn around, which I didn't do because it was my first show and I was nervous.
You afraid you're gonna fall on your butt or what?
I don't know. I just walked in and posed, and then.
Are you in heels? You're in heels?
Yes, I was in heels.
Okay.
I felt good though. I mean, but still didn't do it. But you walk in straight towards the judge, you pose, you do your side pose all around, you do your back pose, then you go back to the front and finish off, and then go to the side, which I did not do because
where did you go? Did you go back off stage?
I posed, lifted my hand up and said thank you, and went straight to where I was supposed to go. And you just never know what to expect. You prepare so much, but those nerves do hit once you're on stage. And
Was
It was
like,
worth it.
yeah, was it like before you know it, you're off stage? It was like it was over. Like for me, it's like, I mean, I've told people on the cast before when I did my first one, I did all this posing back when I was competing back in the prehistoric days. We actually had a choreograph routine for like 90 seconds. Okay. And which was much different than when I came back again into the industry years later. But we had to choreograph something. So there was a lot of work that was put into that, you know? And so I remember I was like really nervous. I was backstage, and well, right before I went on, I forgot my whole routine. It just, my brain went blank. I was so damn nervous, you know? And somehow I did it. I got through it. And that taught me right there how important practice is, because I don't remember doing it, but I had enough repetitions underneath me that I did okay. I didn't remember it because years later, a lot of years later, when the game slowed down, because I don't know about you, but everything at that point for me was fast. It was like everything was flying so fast, and I was nervous and overwhelmed, and blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh yeah.
And then
I felt that adrenaline.
yeah, and it's weird. And then years later, when the game slowed down because I competed a lot more, I could see the audience. I never saw the audience when I first went out that first time. Did you see the audience?
Nope, I saw the judge. I was told eye contact with the judges. So I'm like, I heard my name.
Yeah, I know it's so crazy like that, you know. But I think if you keep on competing, I think what'll end up happening, and this is when it got really fun for me, when the game slowed down and I could have fun with the audience and I could slow down and actually enjoy what I was doing. You know, I wasn't thinking about it because I was already, you know, that there's something to be said about reps and experience that makes that much better as far as I'm concerned. And you'll know that as you go on. I mean, I'm assuming that your second one was in some ways probably a lot better experience than the first one. Would you agree, or did something bad happen to you?
I believe it was a lot better. Nothing really happened. I was just more prepared.
Yeah.
But I was intimidated by all the other girls.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, man, these girls look amazing. But I was grateful to be a part of something and see where I placed.
Yeah. How did you do, by the way?
At the Olympia, out of 13 girls, I placed 6.
Well, that's not bad. I mean,
I was in the center, which is awesome. Nicole was really proud of me. She's like, I'm glad that you made it to the middle. It was your first show at the Olympia, so hopefully better for next year.
Yeah,
which is this year.
And as you mentioned, I mean, there were a lot. I was surprised. I hadn't at that point. That show was me getting back into the industry again, to be a part of it, like I was way back when. I was shocked at how many, not only how many athletes, but how many really legit looking. I mean, there's some serious competition there.
Yeah.
You know, and to go from, I mean, not that Venice Beach wasn't a good show to, you know, wasn't really a quality show, but to go from Venice to that's pretty drastic. That would have probably shocked me into, I don't know what, my second show.
Yeah. And I made that decision right after the competition because, you know, Nicole talked about it, Agnes talked about it, people that I knew in the industry talked about it. So I'm like, why not? I'm here, might as well take a month of prep again and just continue. So
okay, so now I know that you work for the American Red Cross, and we'll talk about that. But with the sport and the thing that you're doing with your bikini competition, are you going to continue competing?
Yes, and honestly, I'll be completely honest, Leo. It depends how I do this year. Okay. If I do pretty well, if I have a chance, then maybe it might boil up where I'm gonna come back stronger. Yeah. I am working extremely hard this year, and I'm just hoping for the best. So I'm more prepared where I'm not gonna focus on, like, I'll focus on the judges, but I do want to present well for the audience. Yeah. Like when I'm on the outskirt of the show, I'm focused on my entertainment. Like, what am I going to get out of this, right? Yeah. And to me, that's I want to present this year. Yeah. You know, not only for the judges, but for those that come and watch us. Yeah, and I think that's kind of the difference between somebody who's just singing and somebody who's an entertainer. You know, I think that's kind of what you're saying. You know, to entertain the crowd.
The reason why I was asking the question is, are you, now that you've competed in a couple of shows, you said it's changed you in some ways, but are you living, we used to call it living the bodybuilding lifestyle, that lifestyle. Do you live that lifestyle every day? If you're like the people out there in that are watching this, they often wonder, are you always in shape, or do you cheat, and do you go off the rails for a while? How does your life look for you now that you've competed a couple of times? Has it changed the way you eat, look at life?
Yes. So when I was younger, I didn't know how to eat. I grew up eating differently than like more carbs and less protein.
Yeah.
So taking this into my life and introducing it to my body, eating more protein, and I eat a lot of carbs too on my off season. I do. I love cookies. So I'm a cookie girl, but it has changed my life a lot in my eating habits. So, I mean, this is a better lifestyle for me, and healthy wise too. So,
did your body respond? I know, like, the thing about your body, which is really interesting, one's physiology, is that it's always trying to adapt to its environment, whatever that may be. In this case, we're talking about, let's just say diet, for example. You can be on a junk food diet, and your body, it will adapt to what you're eating. And even though sometimes at first when you change to a healthy diet, your body at first will feel worse because it's actually gotten used to let's just call it a junk food lifestyle, and it's adapted to that. So sometimes what's really surprising is that, when you change and start eating really healthy, it takes a while for your body to adapt to that too. Did you find that?
I did. I found that my body actually liked it.
Yeah.
Compared to eating what I used to eat, I was more tired.
Yeah.
But eating this way, like a healthy way, it adapts really well because I have more energy, and I just more time. Like I'll wake up early, have more things to do productively, opposed to sleeping in. And I think that has to do a lot with what I used to eat.
Yeah.
So it adapted really well, and better choice for me too.
And so you're still eating that way. Is it pretty user friendly for you?
Yeah, it is.
How many times a day do you eat?
Right now, every 2 hours. So I start at 8 a.m. and then I finish after my workout. I'll finish it like around 8 p.m., 9 p.m.
Wow.
And then start again.
That is one hell of a commitment, I must tell you. I mean, I was committed as a competitive bodybuilder, but the best I could do is to eat 4 times a day. For me to eat 6 times a day, that's quite a regimen that you're on. Is this
I think so.
Is this 7 days a week? Even though you cheat with some cookies, but it basically 7 days a week?
7 days. Well, my coach cut me off cookies. So that was 3 weeks ago. I flipped the switch and said, okay, I'm ready. Let's do this. Competition's in 9 weeks.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think it's really important that, I tell, over the years from being in the industry, I have my own training studios, and I've worked with all kinds of people like what your coach is doing. I've done a lot. I still do that. I'm not in my own gym anymore or studio. I have people that are there, but this is what I did and do for a living, is consult with people and do this kind of stuff. And I tell people that come, and this is sometimes people that are on the outside don't really understand the commitment that you have to make. They really don't understand that. And, it's gotten to the point that when people have come to me, especially later, in my years when I've been around this enough, there's too many people that I've worked with over the years that just really weren't ready to make the necessary commitment. They didn't really understand it. Even when I was trying to tell them, and it's gotten even to the point now when somebody comes and says, look, I'm going to paint the ugly truth for you if you think that you want to be on stage, because otherwise I don't, this might sound mean, but I just don't want you to waste my time and your time, because you're not going to be there, and it's going to be disappointing for both of us.
I think that's every coach's, the way they feel. Seriously, if you don't trust them or commit, it gets really frustrating.
Yeah.
And to me, and I'm glad you brought that up, because that's really important to me, because my mindset was, I want to make my coach proud. Like he's my mentor. He's providing me my meal plan, my workout plan, and I have to finish it.
Yeah.
That was my goal every day.
Yeah.
And I'm the type of person that starts something and I want to finish it.
Yeah.
But in this industry, you can work out forever, and there's no finish line.
Right.
And to me, it's a commitment. And a lot of the people at the gym, they always approach me, which is hard to get a workout in sometimes because you make so much friends
Yeah.
and they look up to you so much. And it just emotionally, I appreciate them so much, because without them, I wouldn't work as hard as I do.
Right.
And I set the expectations high for myself because of my goals.
Yeah.
And then those people look up to me because they want to set their own goals, and I'm like 100% supportive.
Well, you're inspirational, but there's a fine line there, because when it comes to your training, you know, I mean, you do have to be all in with that, and those distractions can become really a big distraction. Kind of funny you say that. When I was dieting for a competition, I'd wear a shirt sometimes, you know, I'd say, I'm dieting, don't talk to me, you know, just, it was a joke. I mean, kind of,
Right.
but because same thing happened to me, you know, when people see you transforming yourself, they're interested in knowing, you know, what did you do? And you don't realize how big of an inspiration that you are to people. Sometimes you just take that for granted, how much of an impact that you really do have. So you find yourself in a kind of a tough spot, because you do want to help them, you know, because you've been that person. But at the same time, when I'm training, don't bother me type thing, you know?
It is a fine line between those two lines,
Just
but
wear headphones.
yeah.
You don't have
And
to
that's
turn
what I
them
do. I look down and people are like, you have that face that I can't even approach you. I'm like, I'm very approachable.
Yeah.
You know, just give me at a good time when I'm done with my workouts.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
I love people though. I do. I love people. I love talking to people. I love inspiring them. I've been inspired so much that I want to spread it out now.
Well, I think it's very cool to pass that kind of stuff on. You know, I'm back in the industry now. I've been in it 1,000 years. I started in '82, and I retired from the sport, and I got out of it for about 13 years, and I decided to compete again. And you know, when I come back, you might ask yourself throughout your life at times, okay, how do I stay relevant? You know what I mean? As you know, especially when you get up to my age, you're a youngster. My age, you start seeing life in a sort of a different way, because the end is, you know, based on chronological order. It's a lot closer than it is for you. So I started asking my things like, you know, how can I still be relative in an industry that I absolutely love? The day that I competed changed my whole life for the rest of my life, and it still has. And, you know, I live my passion. I live my dream. It's all tied up into what I do. So I'm very lucky that way. But you still have to, I still ask myself, how can I be relative? I don't want to be in the gym and showing off and like I used to, and, you know, put all this posing. Of course, social media is much different now than it was back then. And, you know, how I stay relative is, at least in my own little brain, is doing what I'm doing right now. Podcasting, passing the information forward, you know?
Yeah.
Because I find it really fascinating when I came back, and I've interviewed a lot of people from the IMBA, and it's just, I knew this already, but it's just fascinating how you have so many different people that compete and how they have their own little way of getting themselves to that end spot. It's not one, you know, one fits all. It's far from that. And yet you would think we're all a physiology. We're a man or a woman, and, you know, but it seems like we're all different in the way we get to that end spot, you know? And I find that very interesting. So, you know, for me, it's about now just passing on information, fact finding, and finding out about people like yourself and how you got into it, and, you know, what that journey has done for you, because it is life changing. A lot of people don't really understand that. For me, that the time that I got on the stage that first time, it was absolutely life changing, you know, and it's really cool. You know, it's taken me on this journey that I'm so lucky. And I think that you are catching that buzz a little bit, it seems like.
Yes, I am. And I do. I love it. I love boosting my energy. I love being on stage. Never thought I would be doing what I'm doing today. I was always a shy girl.
Yeah.
So I thought, hey, let me take a chance of doing something that I never, ever thought I can do. I love Victoria's Secret. I would always watch the show every December and thought, I want to be one of those girls on the runway. So Bikini opened that for me.
Yeah.
When they called my name, I walked up stage, and that was my time.
Yeah.
And I'm no beauty queen. I did not grow up feeling and looking the way I look today, which I'm truly grateful of, what has been given to me. But today I just think of all the opportunities that has come my way, and I just take them.
Yeah.
I take them and turn them into whatever
Smart,
I wanted.
I think that's a smart attitude, you know. Hey, when you get done competing, are you like on this high that takes you like hours to come down from?
Yes. Yes. I do, but it does take a while, but I want to keep going though. For some reason, I'm just like, after the Olympia, I told my coach, can you give me a meal plan, reverse my diet? He's like, no, just go eat whatever you want.
Yeah.
And I'm like, can I go work out? He's like, no, chill.
Yeah.
I'm like, I need to keep going.
Yeah.
Like, to me, it's just, it's like a job now. But not only that, but it helps me sleep, it helps my anxiety. It helps so many things in my life, mentally, that I don't want to stop this sport.
Yeah.
You know, and working out.
Your coach, they were giving you some really great information, because it's so many times the choices that we have to make, at least with regard to the sport, and it's like this in life to a degree, is that a lot of times, or sometimes, you have to make a choice that is counterintuitive to what you think you want to do. Like in your case, you just wanted to keep on going, which in fact, the best advice that your coach gave to you, at least temporarily, was chill, let your body recover, go eat, chill, enjoy, just don't go off the rails and start your, after my first show, because I really dieted hard, man, I wanted to eat. I tell you what, I went on an eating spree that lasted like a month. I couldn't get enough.
Oh, wow.
I couldn't. I was we have a main boulevard in my town, I still do. And there's all kinds of restaurants there. I would make sure I ate at every single one of them, because I starved for that first show. I didn't know what to expect from that. Like, it's the first time. And I didn't know how cranky I would get dieting. I didn't know that about me. I couldn't stand myself. And I was so hungry. It was like an overcompensation, but I actually needed it. I didn't need to do it for 30 days. That's for darn sure. I mean, after that, I learned, look, after the show, chill, but the most I could take, it was 7 days off. I couldn't go any longer than that, because I'd make myself absolutely crazy.
Yeah, it was tough. For sure. I'm like, pull me back on prep. He's like, no.
I know that it's brutal. It messes with your mind too, and again, that takes a lot of years to understand, and to be intuitive, and to trust that. And it's hard to trust that when you're not used to knowing what that inner voice is really trying to tell you, and in some cases this is where sometimes we are our own worst enemy, but that's why you have a coach. I mean, that's exactly why you have a coach. I want to transition a little bit into the type of work that you do. The American Red Cross, can you tell me what it is that sort of what you do, and what the long game, and how the American Cross works a little bit as far as where you're at?
I could tell you my department, because I don't know much out of the branch, but just as a phlebotomist with the Red Cross, we just draw blood. Like, we'll go to a blood drive and just set up a blood drive. We unload our truck and load our truck, and we set up a blood drive. And we have different standards, especially right now with COVID. We have strict policy standards right now. So certain amount of people in the room, masks. But we just draw blood, and we take you guys through a health history, and just like you're going to the doctor's office, we do your blood pressure, temperature, hematocrit, hemoglobin, and then you're in a chair drawing blood. Yeah. It's really easy what we do, and what we do is very heartwarming, because we hear the stories of those that it changed people's lives, how many units they have to receive. Yeah. And we get stories every month on young kids and parents that need blood. And if there's an accident, which, there's accidents almost every day, that blood is there for them, for their family. Yeah. Yeah. And I would think that the people that are coming to you to give blood, obviously it's voluntary. So they want to be there.
So it would
Yeah.
seem to me that you already have, it's one thing if you have somebody that doesn't want to be there, you like put your arm down, even if you don't want me to take this, I'm doing it. But you actually have people that are wanting to be there. I guess in most cases, some probably have to be there to check their blood for maybe a disease that they have, I would guess. But is there much danger in what you do? In other words, coming in contact with you're taking somebody's blood. Is there much risk for you as a phlebotomist?
No, we take really precautions on our team. Their safety. We do safety every month with our team and reassure them every day in our huddles. So we set those expectations to let them know what we could do better and how we could keep each other safe. I'm sure there's risks, but we haven't came across any risks.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as donors volunteering too, even though it's their first time or not, we reassure them of the mission and why they come and donate.
Do you have people there that even though they're volunteering, they're like scared out of their mind about taking the needle?
All the time.
Really?
And I'm one of them. I'm one of the people that are really nervous to have a needle in my arm. However, if I'm sticking you, taking your blood,
yeah.
I assure you that I have a good amount of experience. I'll make sure you don't feel it, and it's going to be a few seconds, and your blood's drawn in 5 minutes. So I feel like it's good karma. One day, if I need to get tubes drawn, that the same will happen for me.
So what happens to you? Because I had this happen to me. I have good veins. I've always, I've had a couple surgeries and blah, blah, blah. And I've always been told, hey, you have really easy veins to hit. But I had this one phlebotomist that she missed, and she was having a hard time getting my vein. Now, I don't know about you, but does that make you nervous? Like when you can't hit the vein, it's like, wait a minute, let me try another one.
Man, we are challenged. But if you have really good veins and we either miss, sometimes your veins roll.
Yeah.
If you have like really bulgy veins and we go in, they move.
Yeah.
They move. And if you don't get it right on spot, then they call it we swim for the vein.
Yeah.
But we don't really do that much. We have a really good team here. But in reality, that happens.
I almost felt bad for her because I couldn't understand why she couldn't hit it. And I wasn't like giving her a rough time, but I just couldn't. I'm like, I can see that. I can see it. It's really big. And do veins, are certain veins harder than others, like on individuals? And why is that?
If they're deep, they're harder. Yes, if we cannot see them, but we can just feel them.
Yeah.
So we go by palpitating the veins, see if it's how long it is. We mark where the veins are. But if we can visually see them, we won't mark them because, it's common sense. It's right there, yeah.
But I guess what I'm asking is this, like mine, or you can see. So on a vein that you can see, let's just use 2 people that have veins that you can see.
Yeah.
Are there veins that are one person's vein is harder as far as getting the needle in than someone else?
It depends if they have scar tissue. That's also a big impact. Yeah. And if we do go in and get the vein and you don't bleed out, you could be dehydrated. So mostly the people that come from the gym are very dehydrated.
Yeah. Could there be plaque why the vein is tougher? I don't know. I'm asking a silly question perhaps, but I'm wondering.
I don't think so. I don't know. I don't know that one.
Because I had one of them tell me that I had hard veins.
Hard veins?
Yeah.
Even if you can see them?
Yeah. She said not hard veins to see, but to actually stick in. She said my veins were hard. And I'm thinking, oh, that doesn't sound good.
No, I've never run into anything like that. I've been here for 10 years. I stuck every vein. Like any hard ones, those are actually the best ones for me when I'm challenged.
Yeah. Well, you like a challenge. Very good.
I do.
There you go.
I do.
So I'm looking at my veins right now. Is it easier to hit the, which ones do you like hitting? Do you like hitting the smaller ones like on the hand, or do you go after the big guys first?
Right here.
Right there.
We like the middle ones.
Oh man, I got a good middle one.
The middle ones are the best. They bleed faster. They're hydrated. They're perfect.
Yeah. Have you ever had anybody on the table that, like, once you stuck the needle in them, they fainted?
Yes.
Do you like slap
we
them or
do.
throw water on them? What do you do to get them?
No, I personally like to take care of my donors when that happens.
Yeah.
I just tell them today's not a good day, and just, they tried, and that's all that matters, because a lot of donors are very committed. They have a mission too. They have a goal. They're passionate to come and donate blood and save someone else's life, because we do send out postcards on whose life you save. And then if you have our app, you can see where your blood goes.
That's cool.
So it's really cool. It's such a really great process. And right now we're in need of blood. So it's actually good for your body too. It's like an oil change for your body. So when you donate blood, your body starts producing new blood, which is, it gives it like 56 days for it to mature,
Really?
the red cells. So it regains good oxygen. It's really good for your body.
Well, how much are you taking out?
A whole pint, which is 16 ounces of blood.
So 16 ounces of blood will be like an oil change to your body?
Sure is.
Really?
Yeah.
How many pints of blood do we have in our body?
It depends. It really depends on your height and weight. About 9 to 10 pints, 9 to 10.
Okay. And a pint is, again, I'm not very good at this, but a pint is 16 ounces. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Pint?
It's like a water bottle.
A pint is 16 ounces. So that much blood, you take that much blood out of somebody?
Mm-hmm.
Holy crap. I don't think I've ever given blood like that. I've had it taken out of me for lab work.
Yeah.
But I had an injury when I was in college. I had internal bleeding. They cracked my rib, and the rib punctured my lung, and I had all this internal bleeding. And I didn't get to the doctor. I'm very stubborn, and because I wanted to play the next week, forget about it. It was just a minor injury as far as I was concerned. Even though when I went home, and the next day when I got up, I started like passing out a little bit, right? So they took me, I drove to the school, and they said, oh, you got to get to the hospital. Well, anyway, they said that I had my last rites given to me by, a priest when I was but he said, I lost that much blood. How much blood do you have to lose before you're almost dead? Or do you know that?
That's a good question. That's not in my department, but I wouldn't even have a number for you. I would assume 2 pints?
I have no idea.
I don't even know. That's a good question.
Yeah, I don't even, but I can tell you this, when you start passing out, you're getting pretty low.
I assume. I almost passed out on my last donation, and I was donating a pint. Yeah. Have you ever sat down and quickly got up and you're just like, whoa.
Yeah.
That was it's a similar feeling when you're passing out and your eyes roll back. You just go straight to sleep.
Yeah.
40% of your blood.
How much?
40% you will die.
When you lose 40%, Charles is our fact finder, our main guy.
Hi, Charles.
When you lose 40% of your blood, you will die.
You will die.
Yeah. How much blood do we have?
How many pints is that?
How many pints do we have, Charles?
Huh.
Come on. We want to know now.
Give me a second. I'll be back.
Yeah.
Ask Siri.
Yeah.
Someone wanted to do my Instagram with
Oh, yeah.
I'm the
You're a tech guy. He doesn't know how to do Siri. You're in good.
It never comes up.
You're in good hands here. Don't worry. Hey, when I got blood, because they had to give me a bunch of blood because I lost so much. I was on a pump. They stuck a tube in me right here on my side, and they were pumping this blood because I had all this blood filled up. It moved my heart and my lungs. I have so much internal bleeding that it moved my organs to the side, and that's what's causing some of my problem. It felt like I had this big weight on my chest, like when I lay down, I can hardly get up. It's really weird. Anyway, so they were giving blood to me on one side. I had a reaction to the blood that was given to me. Now, why did that happen? Charles?
I have no idea. Yeah, I don't see. Leo, I just draw blood.
Okay. I'm trying to
I have no idea why you have a reaction. That's a very good question, but it's definitely out of my department. I have no idea. But
yeah. How about this is another question. Well, first of all, I have to tell you what it felt like. It was all of a sudden. So I get this blood, and I'm laying back in my bed, and all of a sudden, if you can imagine, how like when you pump a tire up.
Yeah.
Like my face felt like somebody was pumping air into my face, and my lips got bigger, way bigger than they are right now. It was weird. And I thought, well, what the hell? Okay, we have some info coming in from our
All right,
tech that
coming
doesn't know how to
in.
do Siri.
So 1 pint is basically 10%. So 40% would be like 4 pints.
4 pints. If you lose 4
pints.
pints, you're toast.
Oof, that's
There you
a lot
go.
of blood.
See?
Mhm. We
Not
learned
only did
something
you
today.
teach me, we
Thanks,
taught you.
Charles.
Oh God. Yeah. So what about like how do you guys for example, if somebody has like, a disease that you don't know about when you're pumping blood, what's the process? Maybe again, you're just taking the blood and somebody else does the rest, but how do you know if you're getting clean blood or if somebody has a disease or anything, immune?
So as far as my department, what I know, so every donor that comes in has to fill out a rapid pass, and they answer all the questions. It comes with diseases in the past, or just heart problems, or tattoos in the past, just all the information before they are deferred, which is they can't donate for 1 day, or depends how long, according to our CDC. So if they can get past that, they can self-defer. If they get past it, if they can't get past it, then they self-defer themselves. If they get past it, then the questions are brought to our attention at the blood drive, and we ask them more questions. So that's where they have the ability to tell us more information, and then from there, we get more into details of what they had, what kind of cancer they have, and et cetera. And if they had a disease or exposed to someone, then we give them their deferral there, or they pass. However, no matter what they donate that day, it still goes to the lab up north in Salt Lake and is processed. Yeah. So it still goes through a lab and so many testing.
Yeah, it's got different layers of testing to make sure that everything is.
So many testings up there that if something comes back, then they get that information. We don't hear anything about it.
Oh, okay.
It's just out of our hands.
Yeah. As it relates to what's going on now with COVID, how does that impact you as far as how you do your job? I mean, do you now wear a mask? Because I've had phlebotomists not wearing masks, before all this happened. How has that changed the way you do stuff? And do they have to go through a certain screening? Like, how do you know if that person is, of course, if they're asymptomatic, you really don't know. But I'm assuming that they have to go through a bunch of questions before they come in now as it relates to COVID as well to protect you?
Yes. So before they enter the building, they do have to get a temperature tested to see what their temperature is. Yeah. Sanitize. We sanitize throughout the whole process. Every donor that enters, exits the room, which we've done this in the past anyways, we still sanitize every equipment that we use and beds. So we're still clean and following the COVID policy, but we have been following it for the last couple of years. Yeah. That implementing this was just not an extra step. It's always been our steps. Yeah. So it's just more of the 6 feet distance and capacity of the room that we're not used to, because we're used to having a lot of donors come in, because everybody wants to give here in the city. There's a passion of donation because it's part of their it's part of, it's a tradition thing that they do. Even in Thanksgiving, they want to give thanks back and they come and donate, and it's part of their mission here. Yeah.
All right, let's take a quick break so I can tell you about our product.
Do you want a bone-crushing grip? Good, because you're gonna get one with the amazing new TRS gripper. It's a progressive grip builder with longer handles and a special ergonomic design that's like a dozen hand grippers in one. Start off easy and work your way up to quickly build your grip strength from wet noodle to pulverizing. The package includes a video from the world-famous strength coach, Dr. Russ Horine, the man who worked with Leo Costa to help bring you big beyond belief in the Bulgarian Power Burst. Dr. Horine shows you a simple and easy to follow workout plan that takes just minutes a day right from in front of your TV set if you want. So click on the link below and let's get started building you a stronger, firmer, bone-crushing grip.
As far as exposure, does it enter your head? I mean, you're not 6 feet apart, and you possibly might be, dealing with somebody, even though they don't have the symptoms, they could, still be a problem for you as somebody who's working with them. Does that, how much does that play into the people that are are doing your type of job. I mean, I'm assuming you're considered essential. Is
Yes.
that right? So do
Yes.
you have all the PPE and the whole thing? And do you feel
Hmm.
more at risk now that you're doing it in this pandemic than before?
As long as we're 6 feet distant from them or not, if we're more than 15 minutes within those 6 feet distance, if we're not 6 feet distance and within 15 minutes, because we're not, it takes the donation about 5 minutes.
Okay.
So it's not really a long process, but
Yeah.
it made us nervous at first, but now we're here for a reason.
Yeah.
We're donating blood, and there's a lot of other things in the world happening, like people needing blood, and we are safe. We do keep the donor safe, and we keep each other safe, and that's basically what we can do, is keep
Yeah.
each other safe and focus on the mission of why we're here.
Yeah.
I mean, doctors are going through a lot worse than we are, and we're team blue with them and everybody else in the world and supporting each other.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, I think that the type of work that you do is very, listen, you're changing people's lives all the time. And I'm sure that you fully understand that. But sometimes, I can only say to you, and this is maybe a poor example, because I make lots of poor examples when I do stuff like this. But as a personal trainer over the years, you're doing this day in and day out, like you're taking blood day in and day out. And sometimes I just really didn't realize as a trainer that I really did impact people. I didn't really realize that until they got real with me, and I was shocked. And I never forgot that with a couple of my clients. And I remembered, you're making a difference in people's lives every single day. And that's huge. That is, huge to be a part of that. And you're a part of that. And you're a part of that. Not only are you changing your own life through your sport that you're doing, and you're I'm sure you're learning more and more about who you are, but you're changing other people's lives. So you're just kind of, you're doing kind of the same thing in a way, because you're changing lives, your own and other people's lives, right?
Yes, that's true.
Do you see yourself doing this forever, or what's your long-term goal? Where do you think you'll be in 10 years? You got to look in the crystal ball.
It's $1 million question, right?
Yeah. Do you have something that you like secretly, that you've never told anybody in your life, that you want to tell on this show, that you would want to do? Nobody knows about it but us now.
I actually told my husband, I think a week ago, I go, hey, I think in the future I should go to school for real estate. Because my aunt knows, she's been in that industry for a while, in an organization of selling houses. I'm like, I have someone that I can mentor, who can mentor me. And then my aunt brought it to my attention that I could do it too. So, I mean, I love people. I love being around people. So that's just probably the hidden secret. I mean, maybe.
Well,
maybe.
I told my kids, because I have kids older than you, I'm sure. And I told them when they graduated, I said, look, and this is after me now finding my personal trainer, because I was born and raised on a dairy. And in my culture, I'm Portuguese. In my culture, it's to be left to the next generation. I broke that cycle because it just wasn't for me. I tried it. It just wasn't in my blood, and I just couldn't see living my life like that forever. And at 27 years of age, I'd gotten into bodybuilding and I did my first show. That changed my life forever, because I knew I wanted to be in that industry. Even though, believe it or not, in 82 in my town, there was not one personal trainer doing this. You couldn't find a personal trainer for 50 miles. And so there was no reference. I just knew that, because I had people coming up and asking questions from me, like I was thinking, man, maybe I can make a living at this,
Right.
I wanted to be a professional athlete when I was growing up, and that didn't turn out. It turned out from one of my kids. He played Major League Baseball. But I promised myself when I was on that dairy, if I ever got a chance to have that feeling, that passion, that I wasn't going to question it. I was just going to jump and go for it. And that's what I did with my life. And I told my kids, I said, because this has been an amazing ride for me. I work my ass off, but I don't, because I'm doing something that I love more than almost anything else. I love what I do, and I love the life that I'm in every day, even at this young, spry age of 65. Oh my God, I can't believe I said that. Anyway, I'm
You
still
have a passion, though.
I'm still feeling it. And I told my kids, both of them at their graduation, I said, look, and this is, I'm actually giving you, I'm trying to be your mentor, and I'm not doing a very good job. I told them, I said, look, the most important thing is do what matters to you. It doesn't matter what it is, because you'll figure it out. I'm that guy that can tell you there was no personal trainers in my area. When I told people I was a personal trainer, they said, you mean you're an aerobics instructor, right? I said, no. They didn't even know what the hell personal training was. You know, that's kind of where we were in 82. It's hard to believe when you see what's going on now, you know, in the fitness industry. You know, lots of people are personal trainers, but it was just that following that passion, and that, you know, I base everything that I get into now. I always ask myself, what is my passion, the level of passion that I have for it? If it's not there, I don't do it, because it makes the whole difference.
It's true.
So there you go.
It's true.
I'm going
to have a passion for something.
The old guy is going to leave the young one with a little bit of wisdom that you're probably thinking, you know, you're crazy, old guy, but you'll see.
No, Leo, I don't think so. You're unique, and that's what I like. I don't like to follow the crowd. I like to lead my own ways.
Blaze your own path.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. And it's a unique thing to do. So, I mean, I find what you just said very unique, because you took something that you loved and made it to something that it's growing. I mean, I'll be honest, every interview that you've interviewed, I mean, like I listened to your podcast, Nicole, and all the other girls, and thought, I can learn from this. So coming in as a new bodybuilder, bikini, I learned a lot from those conversations, and even your input and her input. It really helps. It really helps for those that are coming in. So
good to know. Because like I said at the beginning of the show, kind of, it's like, I asked myself, well, how can I be relative now? And you know something, this is where I think I need to be, and I love it. I get to meet really cool people from all walks of life, you know, and get to know about the stuff, not only that you do as a trainer, or I mean, as somebody who's competing, but what you do in your work life. I mean, I think you do something very interesting. You know, I've never had a conversation other than, you know, 5 minutes with my phlebotomist about what they do, you know? So, I mean, it's pretty cool to learn about other people. Yeah,
the best conversations. They really are.
Yeah, we're all unique. I mean, we're all unique that way. So tell us where you're going. You're going to be in Vegas at the Olympia again. Is there anything that you would like to promote on the show? Feel free. If you'd like to let us know, if you're like doing something that's on a website or on Instagram, should we follow you? Just right now, go for it.
Follow me on Instagram, Lisa Marie. Lisa Mowie.
Oh, Mowie.
I am an ambassador for Pure 26, which is chocolate egg whites, coffee egg whites that my coach actually came up with his own formula. Really good. So if you guys ever want to try it, you can go on Pure 26 and try his egg whites.
Can we go on your website? I mean, on your Instagram page and find it there too?
Yeah, it's on my biography there. So it's really good. My code is Lisa10 if you want 10% off.
Oh, nice.
So that's actually helped me get through prep too. It's my egg whites, and it has coffee in it. So egg whites, coffee together.
Oh, that's a beautiful thing if it tastes good.
It is. It really is.
Coffee. I'm a coffee addict.
I know, me too.
Anyway, hey, listen, I really do thank you for coming on the show. And
thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Fantastic. And I wish you the best in your next show. Let us know how it goes. I don't know if we're going to be there this year. You never know how things are going to go. By the way, are they going to be competing? Is everything going to be the same? Or are they changing it up as far as, are you going to have to compete like social distancing? How are they going to do that?
I have no idea. I'm just going to be there, and we'll see.
Okay. Well, best of luck to you. I know you're not going to give in. I can tell you've got that look of the tiger in the eye, or eye of the tiger.
I'm coming back strong.
Right on.
You watch.
You're right on. We'll be watching for you. Anyway, thanks for coming on, and we'll see each other again sometime. Bye.
Appreciate it. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Serious Growth Podcast. For more episodes like the one you just listened to, subscribe to us on your mobile podcast app and leave us a review. If you'd like to reach out, you can find us online at seriousgrowth.com. Until next time, train smart and train hard.